In this video, we will be demonstrating how to calculate for the future value or the FV. So remember that the future value is the value of a current asset at a future date based on an assumed rate of growth. So the formula we will use for this calculation is FV equals PV multiplied by 1 plus I divided by T and the Tn raised to the Tn power. So in this case here, FV is your future value, PV is your present value, I is your interest rate, T is the number of times that the interest compounds yearly, and N is the number of years involved in the analysis. So note that for annual compounding, we can simplify the formula even further since T is equal to 1. So in this case, we can use this simplified formula where FV equals PV times 1 plus I raised to the power of N. Right, so let's take a look at an example. In this case, the example would be only the lump sum is provided. Right, so here, example, what is the future value of a $1,000 lump sum invested for 5 years in an account paying 10% interest? So using the formula, we can calculate for the future value by putting in values here, 1,000 for PV and multiplied by 1 plus, we know that the interest is 10% or 0.1 and raised to the power of N or 5, which is 5 years, right? So here we are able to calculate that 1,000 times 1.61051, which is the value for this. And the future value then when calculated is $1,610.51. And so this would be the probably the best, one of the better ways to solve for the future value, knowing how to calculate the formula. Right? It will help you also frame your thought once you transition to a spreadsheet. Now, I mentioned the second solution is using a spreadsheet. Right, so in this case, you can use the Excel spreadsheet to solve for future value. I am using a version from Microsoft 365, and in that version, I am entering the following FB functions where you'll this is what you'll encounter. Right? This would be your your PMT for payment made each period, PV for the present value or the lump sum, and per for the total number of payments, rate for the interest rate, and FV for your future value, right? And once you are on your spreadsheet, so let's just transition to that. So on your spreadsheet, again, this is a Microsoft Office 365 version. You may have a different version, but the definitions and functions will remain the same, right? So the data we have is that we're not doing any payment periods. We have $1,000 for your present value at 5 years for the total number of payments and 10% for interest rate. We are calculating for your future value. So again, we would be selecting the function. And in this case here, I would just be going through this function button here and selecting, I know already what I need, which is FV, but you can also select, if you're not sure, you can also type the type here for a future value, right? This is and if you're not sure, you can read the definitions. As you can see there are multiple definitions as you click to each function, right? So in this case here, we have FV, which is the returns the future value of an investment based on periodic constant payments and a constant interest rate. So that's what we're looking for. So we'll select that. Here we have the fields here. You can either type in the exact field you need. So we know that the rate is at the cell D6. So we can type that. And per is at cell D and 5, D5. So let's change that. And your PV is at cell D4. Right. Alternatively, we can select this one. If we just delete this so that I can demonstrate how you can use the arrows here to select. So rate, select the arrow, 0% there. So go back to the arrow. NPER is this, and your PV is this. Again, we leave the other fields blank because we don't pay payment periods, and the type we don't know if we are paying at the start or the end of a period. Right. So now, once we have that, hit select OK, and there's your answer, right? Which is exactly equal to this what we calculated. So this is probably one of the best way to use the to solve for your future value is using a spreadsheet. Easiest and the best way. The last method I would recommend is using online calculators, especially if you're in a rush, you don't have access to a desktop, you don't have your computer in front of you. I would recommend using the online calculator. I like this online website, calculator.net, so I'd recommend that. But there are a lot of other calculators out there for you to use. Right, so let's go to this website. So going to the calculator.net website, this is their landing page. And you can search for the specific online calculator you need by searching here. Or alternatively, you can also look at the financial calculators here. So they have several options, right? So I would recommend either the search or using your financial calculator, which is this one here, your finance calculator. So selecting this, just clear that. So selecting the finance calculator, you have this template. These are pre-populated fields. I'm just going to delete that, enter the fields we need. Right, so number of periods that we know is for 5 years. In your example there, 10%, percent value is $1,000. Again, we're not doing periodic payment, so let's leave this blank. Let's hit calculate. Oh, sorry, and put that to 0. There you go. So you will be getting the same answer there, where you would be when you use the calculate the formula to calculate or spreadsheet. So probably the easiest way, and you can also do this on your phone if you have a smartphone. So in summary, you can either use this formula to calculate for your FV. You can use your spreadsheet using the FV function, or you can use an online calculator and just enter the fields there. Thank you.